What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Thursday Night Live show here on the number one live tuning channel that shoots Thursday night in Pittsburgh. Hey, everybody. Just a heads up. Super sick. Been sick since Sunday. So under the weather, it's not even funny. So I might sound a little bit different today. We're going to get through this show. We're going to talk about some stuff. We'll answer some questions as people start to trickle in. I got rear-ended yesterday on a highway, if you can believe that. I'm telling you, it's Mrs. Garage came down with it. I got it Sunday, hit me hard Monday, and man, I probably should have taken a couple days off of work, but I didn't. I just kept on hammering through it. Dented the tailgate and jacked up the rear bumper and the receiver hitch, but from the looks of it, it did not get into the truck bed, so it's probably going to be all right. Yeah, I've got my radio voice on tonight. What else? Seven's doing good. We had a follow-up appointment with Seven today. They're going to go ahead and remove her lymph node before they start the chemo on her, but she's in good spirits. She got her stitches out of her leg, so happy to see that. And oh yeah, we got rid of the typhoon, but we'll talk about that here in a bit. Who we got in here? We got Joe, Andrew, D, and Z getting ready to build an A01 1500 Chevy. Mr. J, Keith, Pepe, Sean S, Justin, Bill 1, got rear-ended at 65, 199. I'll tell you my story in a second. It's a crazy story. And Chris and greatly appreciate all the help. Yeah, they talk crap and don't want others to succeed. That's the trend out there, Chris, is that other tuners out there think that they have some kind of secret knowledge that they don't want to share with other people. That's what got me into this in the first place. Finding people that were willing to go out and actually share information was few and far between. And as I have said from the get-go, I am far from the most knowledgeable tuner on the face of the planet. I'm just the one that's willing to share every single thing that I know. And we're seeing more and more of that out there. There's some guys out there that are peeling the curtain back so everybody can get an equal playing ground. It's not that tuning's hard. Tuning's not hard. Getting started tuning is what's hard. What up, Danny? What up, Funny Muffler? So, here I am on 79 North, headed home from work. We're going through a construction zone, so there's Jersey barriers right on the left-hand lane, and on the right-hand lane, there's really not much of a shoulder. Come up, there's two utility trucks on the shoulder, and when I say they're on the shoulder, they're kind of jacked up on a hill and they're surrounded by weeds. They shouldn't have been there. That's neither here nor there. So we come around a curve, and there's a vehicle stopped in the right-hand lane. So the car in front of me stops, I stop, and at this point in time, me and that car are honking our horns at this person like, what are you doing? Well, the car behind me stops. About that time, the car in front of me pulls out to the left lane because they safely can and gets down the road. Well, there's a lot of traffic coming down the left lane. I look up, this idiot in a Chevy Avalanche is literally backing down the road in the middle of a construction zone. About that time, a utility van absolutely obliterates the ass end of the car behind me, pushes them into me. As soon as that happens, Chevy Avalanche throws it in drive and takes off. So I'm clearly pissed off. I jam on the gas and chase the guy down, get his license plate number, call 911, stuff like that. So I've now left the scene of the accident myself because I'm wanting to get this guy in trouble. I sat there for over an hour waiting on the cops to clean up the accident down the road, about half mile back. Comes up. Cop asked me for my driver's license insurance. I give him all that. And he's back in the truck for like 30 minutes. I'm like, what's going on? So he finally walks up and he hands me a piece of paper. He goes, here's the police report on the accident. I go, well, did you catch the guy? He goes, what, the guy in the white van? Yeah. I go, no, the guy that caused the whole crash, the guy backing down traffic in a construction zone that caused the whole pile up in the first place. No, it was a rear end by the white van, so he's at fault. We don't care about anything else. And then walks away, and I'm like, wow. So that was my adventure yesterday. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh, all I want to do is go home, go to bed. Oh, I feel like crap. Who snuck in here? Home Solutions and ZL1 Chris. Good to see you guys. Oh, it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So now, as I said, just the tailgate and the bumper took most of the damage. Don't think it got to the frame. Looks like the bed sides are smooth, but until I put a light on to make sure they didn't ripple up, I didn't get hit that hard. The poor little silver car behind me, of course, I had a trailer hitch in at the time. What up, Tyler? What up, Kim? Fast Hemi. I'll have to leave the middle part out. But talk about the other fly on the wall. Is there anybody in here that doesn't follow me on Instagram? And if you don't, I'll say why. And if your response is, I don't have Instagram, I'll give you a big thumbs up. Good for you. Yeah. Thanks, Nelson. Oh, Bernard's back. Good to see you, man. So, as I said, prefaced earlier, the Typhoon is gone. I traded the Typhoon for an 87 Monte Carlo SS Pro Street car, big tire car, with a decent little 496 big block in it. It's a low 9-second car as it sits right now. So, we're going to be doing some stuff on it. Probably not what most people are thinking. I am going to pull the big block out of it. Yeah, Tommy, I think I'll make it a drag and drive car. Or a no prep car. We'll see. Pull the big block out of it. Putting the 6-liter in it. With a couple snails. And having some fun. So keep your eyes posted on that. That's the, yep, that's it, Luke. The early goal is to just get the 6-liter in naturally aspirated just to get the car moving. So, Fuzzy Moto, if I had an OnlyFans, you would know about it already. Not making it to Bowling Green this weekend. So, Typhoon's gone. Yep, Typhoon is gone. So, it's going to be fun. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. My wife got me that shirt. You like that? When I blip the throttle, it falls on its face, LY5 with truck noise cam. Double check your idle airflow. Probably low. Yeah, it's a G-body. G-body. Big tire G-body. It's a back half car. It's got an 8.5 cage in it. Probably needs to be stepped up to a funny car cage. It'll be interesting. But the thing about it is the big block that's in there has a very nice set of Brodix heads on there that'll be worth a little over 200 horsepower on my big block in the Nova. So I'm going to rob those heads off of that big block, put them on my Nova, take the heads off of the Nova, put it on that big block, and go from there. So the goal is still the Nova even though it's a small tire car, to get it into the nines naturally aspirated. This one was running like a 9.75 mile on nitrous, but it was a small shot. Yeah, the problem with the Typhoons are you just can't get parts for them. Rare cars, any kind of rare car, if you were to LS swap it, it wouldn't be an issue because then all the other parts that you need to replace stuff like that would interchange with S10s and Blazers and Jazz. LS Fest was fun. Never been to the one this weekend. Oh yeah, Mo Party. Was gonna go to Mo Party, but did not feel like trailering my stock Viper all the way down there. Maybe a long shot, but does retarding timing help spool up a turbo? Yes. I mean, yeah. Essentially, you're just starting the combustion cycle as the exhaust valves open. If you get to that point in time, you're generating combustion and exhaust. That's what two-stepping does. So, just tuned to 60LQ 44L80E with headers and 82 El Camino 373. No posi. Yeah. Yeah. Thought the trans was slipping first shift. No, you're just one wheel peeling it. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for coming to the live show. Yeah, Jonathan, we've got an 87 Monte Carlo Pro Street car now. Well, Dennis. Hey, Super Slow. You going to start an OnlyFans for us? Called Only Boost? Just me standing around covering up my naughty bits with a turbo? I have not watched Matt Stanford's tuning videos. I think a couple of them have popped up recently. So, no, Jerry, I don't know if you heard everything that's been going on, but it's been a week. It's been a week. So, I'm way behind on emails. And it's probably not going to get better tomorrow. I'm actually scheduled tomorrow to go out to Bench Force. You guys know, some of you guys may know Bench Force. Oh. Bench Force is the interface I use for bench tuning. As I knock things off, they come with these sweet little adapter harnesses that all plug in. There's OBD2 on the other side, so based on the ECU, you can quickly swap in between. So they're a couple hours down the road from me, and Bench Force has a new product coming out. We're going to go out, shoot some video, talk about their products with that stuff, and then talk about, of course, EFI Connection. Is that the one that they own? EFI Connection, I think. Let me double check. Yep, EFI Connection, which is the parts that I used on the Typhoon to convert it over to the standalone. So, try restarting laptop. Oh, different question. Okay, Jerry, gotcha. Any thoughts on a KES version 2 clone or a K-Tag clone? Not really, because I'm not enough into that world, Bob. Got an AEM failsafe with built-in USB connector. I think it's 4900. Ooh, AFR failsafe? Bernard, you may have to use the analog connection on that one. I don't think that the data stream across USB will be supported. Schmidt on that, he's asking where to set the fuel from the fuel wall stabilization on transients to try and solve a leading tip in. I generally go in, just start bumping it 10% at a time. Well, Fuzzy, they've got a new device coming out that is essentially this, but instead of having the universal connector on it, it'll just be plugged into one harness. So if you're doing a bunch of E38s or something like that, you'll be able to buy a much cheaper device specifically for, doing bench tunings on E38s. This is still going to be the top tier. I've got 4 or 5 harnesses for this thing. And it's nice if you're messing with that many different ECUs. But if you're not, there's a time and place for it. I will say it's probably the best interface if you're doing a lot of HP Tuners bench programming. Justin Rogers asks a great question. And some of your mass airflow tuning videos, you mentioned adjusting a parameter in the MAF if you increase or decrease the intake tubing size. So Justin, it's the whole MAF curve itself. So you got to look at it that the mass airflow sensor reads literally the mass amount of air that's going through there. It uses the hot wire, and as the air goes through there, it cools the wire down. As you make that pipe bigger or smaller, it's changing a constant in the math parameter that calculates how many pounds of air per hour it flows. And so we have to retune the curve. That's the thing, is if we run out of resolution, we can go bigger. Thus, we're getting more air in at a lower frequency on that hot wire. So anyone got Circle D6L80 they want to sell me? In Australia, mind you. Hey man, if the AEM seems to work, stick with it. But I said, I like the cheap ones. Off Amazon. I try not to pay more than like $30-$40 at the most. Thanks, Painter Dave. Thanks for swinging by the live show. Just keep bugging me on the open spots. Normally, I have a couple open tunes every month, but I got a little bit behind with all the stuff that was going on with family and jazz, and so I just wanted to focus on what I had open at the moment. Well, if you're looking at the way that mass works in this measuring in a hot wire measurement, the velocity of the air is going to, or the mass of the air is going to take more heat out of the wire. As the intake tube gets bigger, the mass spreads out. So we can still have the same amount of mass in a tube this big or a tube this big, but it's not going to cool the wire down as much. So that's what you've got to be aware of, is that changing dynamic. Nicholas, I technically can't use that logo anymore. For a couple reasons. I thought I was being clever because that's the Lambda 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 logo from Revenge of the Nerds. Then I found out my arch nemesis had already used it and beaten me to it. And so I just threw it to the wayside. And then I got the super complicated logo, which few have probably seen. And then I got the simplified logo, which we use today. Yeah, you'll definitely need to do it on a RotoFab Big Gulp. Thanks, Dennis. Hey, if the 4.2 works, there's no reason to upgrade to the 4.9. There's a 5.2 out now, by the way. Bigger tube, I don't know. Ask me on a day that I'm not sick and I can tell you if it'd make it richer or leaner. It will screw up your airflow. Oh, nice. LS1 Turbo run last weekend. It's not a moose, it's a goat. Got a weird VE table issue going on. I'm sure it's due to the engine temp. Vehicle has no thermostat. Electric water pump. Rich at 180, but 190 it's lean? That's a big swing for 10 degrees of engine temp. Super Slow, have you tried switching the bias from ECT to IAT, full IAT on the airflow tab? See if that makes a difference. Gail Banks had a video that he has an adapter on the MAF to adjust, to compensate, so you don't need to tune for running a large pipe. So, theoretically, it should scale. As I said, the pipe diameter is going to be a constant in the formula. So if the pipe is 24% bigger, you could probably take 24% out of the signal and be decent, like closed loop is stuff. Yes, Schmidt, I am under the weather. Adrian, are you real good at tuning stuff? Not really. No, I paid somebody to design my logo. I do not have an artistic bone in my body. Yeah. You said you have tried that or you haven't? Only thing I haven't is messing with boiling or the E85 table for fueling. The E85 table shouldn't be causing that. We had to put a sleeve in our cold air intake to help create with spec performance so the guys could use a stock tune. Ah, yep, yep. Oh. Drawing blank. The sickness is kicking in. We got a big crowd here. Somebody asked me a good question. Why was getting a lean code without tuning the math with the new intake? Oh, yeah, the STSV one. Dyno tune or street tune? Both. The correct answer is both. I've got some kind of upper chest congestion, like I got a chest cold, chest and head. Dyno tune or street tune? Both. Both have a place. So you can do a lot on a dyno that you can't do on the street, specifically for filling out VE tables. Being able to hold loads makes a huge difference. Things like that. And then seeing max timing, because whenever we're tuning timing on the street, we're not tuning for max timing usually, and sometimes we tune over max timing. So there's no reason to run 28 degrees if your motor only wants 26. That being said, getting a good drivable car from a dyno tune never seems to happen. So street tuning has a place because that's what the car is spending most of its life doing, is driving on the streets. You're not out there making full power pulls, 0 to 7,000 RPMs everywhere you go. It just doesn't. That's what most guys are doing dyno tunes are doing. They're not really addressing a lot of that stuff. So Super Slow, what ECU are you on? Yeah, exactly. As soon as you put that sleeve in there, you're just basically running the same that you're running beforehand. Yep. What's your thoughts on the canned magnets and tunes? Not a fan. Done a couple of the retunes. And it's not just because they're overly protective or overly safe. They're just not good tunes. Um, does anyone know if you still need HP tuner credits for tuning riding an E92 that is part of the Yes. Yes, correct. The Connect and Cruise, the only difference on that, Frank, is it will show up without a VIN. But it still uses the serial number of the ECU to register it. Fifth gen question here. Under the fuel system tab, high pressure desired. How high can we safely bump up this table? You can bump that table to your heart's content. It's high pressure. It's a mechanical pump. You're eventually going to set it to a setting that's higher than what the pump can do. Yeah, like Chris says. Dyno tune for performance, street tune for drivability. And that's why I tell people whenever I'm tuning their vehicles. We'll get to a point where I'm like, listen, there's probably still some power on the table, but you're walking away with a tune that's going to be good. It's just going to drive good. It's going to operate good. It's not going to give you issues. You're on a P01. I can't think tonight. Super slow. That's a decent idle with a crazy cam. Played with VVT on stock application. Cammed. Dialed it way back on a stock application, then turned it off and put a real cam in. Bob, I am of the group that says that VVT is the biggest waste of time on a single cam vehicle. Ditch it. It's not giving you this magic torque and horsepower adjustments that you're thinking of. It's there for your fuel economy, and that's it. Now, if you had a dual overhead cam motor like a modular motor, a Coyote, big difference. Being able to change both the intake lobe and the exhaust is where you're going to get power from. But when you're rotating the whole camshaft as one piece, it's not going to be that beneficial. And it's probably going to end up causing you issues whenever something breaks, aka collapse lifters that all of them end up seeing. Go super slow. Try changing that, brah. Change it. Hey, Mr. J's getting it done right. Underneath the car replacing a sensor in the middle of the live show. That's what I'm talking about, brother. Yeah, Brian, for most people, like 99% of people, it's not worth it to go to the dyno. Because here, let me tell you what's going to happen when you go to the dyno. You're not going to get the numbers that you want. So just make them up and tell people that's what you got. Super slow, you think your fuel's boiling? Watch my video on how to do horsepower and torque in the scanner. And if your airflow calculation's really messed up, you can make over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque with a 4-cylinder. Then you can really brag to your friends. Yeah, but seriously, as Fuzzy said, ditch the VVT. Perfect time for a cam upgrade. If you're even partly serious about doing modifications on a VVT Chevy motor, a single cam motor, one of the first things that you should probably do is a VVT delete, along with a proper DOD delete and a new cam. Cams really produce giant horsepower on these things. Cams, then your next big step, if you're not going forced induction, would be heads. And if you want a way of checking your performance gains, get a draggy. You know, where are they now? $200? You can do eighth mile times, 0 to 60s, and see how well it's doing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:25 p.m. We started a couple minutes early. I am sick as hell, so we're going to end a couple minutes early. Super Slow, hit me up, man. Hit me up next week and let's talk about this. Let me get through this week. What do you think about an AEM wideband reading good AFR, like 1.05 to 0.81 lambda? But the vehicle still throws a P0171 lean warning. Well, it could be, if you're still in open loop, Justin, you could just be that you've exceeded the lean set point on there. If you go underneath the fuel oxygen sensor, you'll see max min lean, max min rich. And there's probably specifically a DTC for that, because it's possible, especially if you have long tubes on there, it's possible to throw those codes, but there's a good chance you got a leak or a bad sensor. I would swap the sensors if it's only in one bank. Just swap the sensors real quick to find out. Thank you, everybody. I will get to feeling better. I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. It's been fun. Keep your eyes peeled. We've got to do a video on the big tire car. Exciting stuff there. And then the bench force video, probably take me a couple days to get that one out. But as I punch my microphone, keep your eyes peeled. And Bernard, I'll go to the doctor if I don't get better. Listen, you guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. I can't even talk. Drag Week's coming up. Tune in if you can. This is for everybody. Frank's not just talking to me. If you're sitting around, tune into the live stream Drag Week. More people that watch this stuff, the more people that support it, the more people, sponsors that get on board, the more tracks we keep alive. So, thanks for talking. I can't talk. ABT, always be tuning.